Do you want to say something about what you think Queer is about?
Yes. Firstly, just thank you to the BFI for hosting us this evening. It's just such an honor to be here to do this. So, well, I think so much of that sensual, it's not really in the book. I think that's a simple thing to say, but it kind of is. And you read the book and Burroughs doesn't really describe, he does describe a moment like that, but it's not with that much lyricism. And that's down to Luca, who, we decided very early on to get underneath and what this character was about, and the yearning and the love and all of the things that Burroughs wasn't really writing about.
Yeah.
And we had this amazing scholar, Oliver Harris, who just very nicely said to me when we were talking together, he said, Burroughs made it all up. It's just his fiction. It's based on fact, but some of the bars in the movie are probably in Austria. Some of it's just all fiction. He made it, and that just released me to sort of like just find who I thought this person was, and that I think if I'm right, I think that's described, this ghost hand, because we repeat it in another scene.
Because the novel's very short.
And sort of unfinished as well. So I recognize that. I've been in a conversation with somebody, I'm not you, but wanted to reach out. Nothing against. I mean,
if you'd like to, I'd be fine with it.
But that yearning to reach out and touch somebody like that is just really rang true to me.
The thing is that so much of the film is about desire, and it is about wanting things, whether that be lust or whether it be affection or whether it be telepathy, because obviously the central character, that's what he really wants, is to telepathically understand. But I think that makes it a much more welcoming experience than a version of Queer could have been, because Burroughs' writing can be very abrasive.
I agree. I mean, that was his. We were just discussing it earlier about the fact that he had a sense of humor. It's just you might have not noticed it at times, but it was his way of it's his. He was writing gags. I mean, he talks about in the book the routine, which is you see in the movie, and he talks for 3 pages sometimes, and it's just his way of entertaining, and it probably would have been quite difficult. It's another movie. It wouldn't have been our movie. And I think that within that, I always felt I saw someone's neediness, someone's desire to sort of be the center of attention, but also to be liked and to be loved and all of those things.
But it's also significant that he's playing a character, because when people think of Burroughs, there's a uniform almost that Burroughs wore that you wear in the film. But that is a character that Burroughs sort of puts on, isn't it?
I think so. I mean, I can't really speak to it, but that was my impression. I mean, if you've ever seen footage of him, he's very like this. It's very deep voice, and it's like, and I thought that as soon as I don't know. I mean, there's an expression: the bigger the back, the bigger the front. I mean, the bigger the front, the bigger the back. Get it right. Makes more sense. And I still don't know what it means.
Well,
it's just that, what is that? What's that carapace about?
Okay.
Why is it there? Why is he putting that on? Is it, homosexuality was illegal, so was a drug addiction, the sort of his desire to be an intellectual, all of these things. And those television programs that don't exist anymore where writers were allowed to go on and talk for hours into the night. I mean, quite joyous, but that he liked kind of the sound of his own voice.
Oh, God, yeah.
But I couldn't do a movie like that. I mean, that would have been turgid.
Did you when you played him, because you have to sympathize with your character, and there's a lot to not sympathize with, but did you like the character of Bill Lee?
Yes, I did, yeah. I kind of saw a lot, I just recognized a lot of the behavior, the reasons for it and the bad behavior, what that was, I've sadly had friends who've, been addicts and are addicts, whatever the right way of putting it is, and knowing that, looking for that, searching for something or hiding or pushing something away, but also just about the Burroughs that I read about that was just constantly, either through hallucinogenics or drugs or whatever, just trying to look for something else. The telepathy is very, I think, is very kind of wanting to get inside. And in a time when it must have been very difficult to have, especially, a gay relationship must have been just very complicated. People didn't have the words that we kind of have today, I suppose.
Okay, well, look, I've tried to thread the needle with your career, which is kind of complicated because you've done so many different roles. So forgive me if some of these, points changes seem clunky. Thank you. So
I'll take what I can get. Really.
Yeah, fine. So I want to go back to Love is the Devil.
Right.
It's such a great film because it does have that humor runs all the way through it.
Yeah.
And so much of that is to do not with what's being said, but what's not being said. And you were laughing out loud because, I presume, but it is. it's genuinely tender and touching and funny.
Right. Yeah. Oh, good. Excellent. Yeah. Good. Yeah. I haven't seen it for so long, so it's quite.
Do you have good memories of making it?
Oh, just brilliant memories. John. For a number of reasons, Mary Selway, who cast it, a brilliant casting director, who died way too young. And she was one of those amazing people in my life who was a champion for me. She kind of bullied me, but in a very nice way. You're doing a job, Daniel. I was like, oh, fine. And she did. Did
she talk like that?
She didn't.
She was Bob Hoskins.
That's a little bit. Especially when she told me to do this job, which was literally, she called me up about 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning. And if anybody knew me back then, 8 a.m. was not a time when I was genuinely,
okay.
I was either up or I was asleep. So she called me and I was asleep and she woke me up and I was like, oh, and she went, Mary, you're doing this job, Daniel. I went, oh, yes, Mary, okay. And put the phone down. So that's, I hummed and hawed about it, and we had no money, and neither did we have permission from the Marlborough Gallery to use any of Bacon's images.
Wow.
Eventually, when when they started seeing bits of the movie, which they were being shown, they were like, well, you can have. We said too late. So we had all these Slade students who were back literally on the set with us in a kind of area with these huge canvases who were told, paint Bacons. So these Slade students were just like going at it with these, all which we had to destroy, because obviously it's, they're illegal copies of all images of Bacon's.
Wow.
So all of the sort of things leaning against the wall in the movie are all done by these students who are just creating these images. And it, I think, works way better than having the actual images, which have been distracting, which are distracting for a reason.
But also the great thing is that also makes the film feel like a bit of a criminal enterprise, which, considering his story, that kind of feeds into it so well.
This is an old story, but John Matheson, we didn't have any money for lenses, and John Matheson had just shot a video with Chris Christopherson and Sinead O'Connor, and all the lenses from the movie were from that video shoot. So they kept, Panavision kept going, can we have all 60mm back, please? So we're like, yeah, I guess so.
And when that came out, do you remember what the notices were? Do you read your reviews?
No. Of course I fucking do.
Okay.
I can't. Yes, I do. It's like there's no point not trying to read them, because ultimately, good or bad, you're going to hear somehow. So I'm less kind of, I scan them and just like kind of go, okay, it's fine. And then sometimes I'll punish myself and read bad reviews in the middle of the night when I'm really hating myself.
Do they ever get to you?
Not really, no. Not really.
And you've been, generally in the last 5-10 years, you've been reviewed well. But I went back to the reviews. Thank you very much. Yes. But it's... You never let them get under your skin, do you? Because I went back to the reviews for this. You did get good reviews for Love is the Devil.
I know. Yes, there were. It was, and we went to Uncertain Regard, and so we went to Cannes in this like really cool way out of main competition, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was just like, oh yeah, right, okay, yeah, Cannes. I just like, I didn't know what Uncertain Regard was. I have no idea. I still don't.
Well, there's the old joke about Uncertain Regard. It's the films that the Cannes Film Festival regards uncertainly. And that is literally how it works. Did you like Cannes? I hate Cannes. I think
does
Cannes,
anybody truly love Cannes?
No.
Cannes maybe when the festival's not going on, it's probably lovely, but I've never been there.
Can I say, I have been to Cannes when the festival isn't on, it's just as bad.
Nobody from Cannes. Anybody from Cannes in tonight?
It's one of the very few places that could be improved by a limited nuclear strike.
Oh, please. Oh, now we're off. Good. I thought you were a bit slow to start. I was like, are we going to...
Tell me about what you remember about that film.
Oh, the late, great Roger Michel. It was our second movie together. We did a movie called The Mother. It's interesting because I've just done an interview with Luca about queer, and he gets, a movie about unrequited love, and he went, no, unrequited love, it's just stalking. And this is
yeah.
I mean, this is a movie about unrequited love. I mean, Rhys Ifans falls madly in love with me, and it's the kind of, I mean, who can blame him? Sorry. I mean, so and it's about that, that total, like, it's scary, and it's all of these things because he is convinced and thinks, everybody else is wrong, and it's like, it doesn't end that well either, that movie.
No, but of course in the novel there's the whole thing at the end in which Ian McEwan describes this condition, although apparently it's all made up. Right. The whole thing is...
Right.
But I think that the film is genuinely a psychopathic love story.
Right. Yeah. I think you're right.
And I think Roger Michel was a much underrated director. Some people thought he was a really good, solid director, but what they sometimes missed was just how emotionally intuitive he is. I think that sequence is devastating.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Do you remember shooting it?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it was, and I mean, it's obviously, there was a huge, great big crane which took us up for some of the higher shots. You don't really see it. I mean, but the idea is we kind of go up high, and there's that moment where you go, oh fuck, rising balloon, what to do, and it sort of drifts slightly down. So we managed to sort of escape. But we went up. We were tied off, but it was a day. We shot it on the Getty estate as well, up in Buckinghamshire, which is like beautiful bit of land, which is up there. Like, I remember it vividly.
And you said the late great Roger Michel, because I think he's an extraordinary director. You had, of course, made The Mother before that. And The Mother is, again, a film about love and desire. And I remember that when The Mother came out, because there's a script by Hanif Qureshi, there was a lot of kind of reviewers who were kind of, oh, well, this is a very taboo subject, isn't it? A younger man, an older woman. And I think it's one of the strangest things about that film is the way in which it made some people feel uncomfortable.
I think we got booed in Cannes.
Oh, did you? Well done.
I know.
Well done.
Nervous. For sure, yeah. I mean, Hanif as well. He doesn't hold back on sort of looking into the sort of. But again, it's you treat it as a. I don't know. I always just sort of look at things and think, yeah, that can happen. I mean, that makes. I mean, I just don't. I mean, I suppose that's what you have to do as an actor. You have to kind of believe it, so you're open to it. There's like an idea. I suppose it makes. That's why there's all those rumors about actors. But it's
which rumors are those?
Oh, I did a play with Michael Gambon years ago, and we used to at the bow. He'd sort of always be chatting to him, and he just said he remembers that being in a play and the curtains went like that as they were all bowing, and he heard this woman in the front row went, "Those actors at it like knives." I was like, I love that. It's true, obviously.
A friend of mine, Nigel Floyd, is a great film critic, I think. He said to me once, he said, the thing about Roger Michel is nobody shoots interior spaces as well as Roger Michel.
Interesting. Well,
why do you think it pushed people's buttons?
I don't care, really. Fuck them. I mean, it's like, I mean, that's kind of, it talks to the condition of the human condition. It's what our job is as actors and creative people, is to try and discover that. And people are fucking all the time, having relationships. Sex is the most complicated, wonderful, difficult, amazing. Love as well is the most complicated, difficult, amazing thing there is. And that's always what I'm kind of been interested in, and trying to sort of portray it is like really kind of like, that's my job. But
one of the things that's really interesting about your screen career is that an awful lot of again, critics telling actors what they're doing is a terrible thing because we don't understand it. But a lot of what you're doing is physical performance. It's not to do with what's being said. It's to do with the way you're standing. It's to do with the position of your body. It's to do with understanding the way that a camera is looking at you. And it is interesting, having just spent the last week going back through your film career. Do you dance?
Are you asking?
Well,
Sorry. It was low-hanging fruit.
no. But it is physical performance, and particularly.
No, it's the simple answer. I don't, but I'd love to have been a dancer. Yeah.
But you know what I mean about the thing about it, the way in which one performs the body on screen
Right.
is a particular skill that not everyone has. And was it something you had to learn, or?
I don't know if I learnt it. I just realized the power of it by watching actors that I love and you're taking up when I did Our Friends in the North, I did a job. That was the longest job I'd ever had on camera, and I've talked about this before, but I really learned I think what I know how to do now, doing that.
Yeah.
The day to day, it's a real, and just. Again, going back to the thing, I'm fascinated by lenses, I'm fascinated by lighting, I'm fascinated by the whole process, which is just so exciting and wonderful. And just watching people, I remember doing Road to Perdition, and Paul Newman was Connie Hall, who lit Cool Hand Luke, and great, and
That's Conrad Hall to everybody else.
Right, sorry. And he'd lit the scene, and it was like Paul was sat in a chair, and there was a shaft of light coming in, and he just went, "Connie!" It was like, and he just said, "How about this?" And he just leant slightly into the light. His one left eye just went, "Ding!" And I went, "Oh, wow, that's how you do it." And it just things like that.
Yeah.
I realized, you've got to lean into performance, but it's a kind of performance with it. I don't know how to just use the words, but
okay.
Yeah,
But so you are conscious of it. You have a sense of what the shot is at the time that you're performing.
I'm not thinking it. I don't know. I think 35 years of doing this have allowed me not to think about it anymore.
Okay.
I'm trying not to think about anything, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
But I think having done it for so long and just checking on things when I'm on a set, looking where things are doing, I wing it.
What do you remember then? What was Spielberg like to be directed by?
I was terrified.
Terrified because he's Spielberg.
And also because I think rather brilliantly, he doesn't give you an awful lot. He just says, this is what's happening. This is what we're doing. This is he doesn't even say this. It's the cameras are set up. We might have used 2 cameras. I think they were both on tracks. So they were drifting like this. Go. And I kind of like that. It's like, okay, I've done my bit. I've brought what I think is going to do for the scene. And I remember there are notes. I don't remember them. I don't think that, they were maybe they were about the technical side of it. I remember he arrives the day before shooting, and he leaves the night of, and it's something from Jaws, I think. I think that it's some tradition he has. So you don't see him. And we did a scene in a car. There were 4 people in the car, and he explained the shot, and it was a tracking shot, which came, and it was all dialogue. And the tracking shot came along the street, along the bonnet of the car, came around, came onto me, came on to whoever, Matthew was in the car, I think, and then came around the back of the car and then kind of traveled away like that. And he's like, that was his first shot. He's like, I've arrived, okay? And you're just like, oh my God. And what are you gonna do? Shit or get off the pot? I mean, you just gotta do it.
And what did you do in terms of preparation? Because obviously the character requires an accent. The character you're talking about a real event. It's a controversial film, which right from the beginning there was, you almost can't tell that story. So what did you do?
And 7/7 happened when we were shooting.
Oh yeah, that actually happened whilst you were
we
shooting.
Yeah, yeah. It was a very tense time. We had sniffer dogs on set, and like, I mean, they went after me, but it was like, you know, it was. I prepped the character, did some research. There were books written about the whole thing, you know, different views. How we approached it, it was, again, it's a work of fiction. That's our jobs. We don't, you know, you want to watch documentaries, watch documentaries. So we had to kind of put ourselves into it. And then I just love a long take. I mean, it's just my favorite. I mean, it's just like...
Is that because it's closest to theatre?
It's not even that. I just think that done well, and the confidence, that's cinema. That's pure cinema. That's like, you know, whether it's Bringing Up Baby or it's going back to kind of, you know, those sort of movies, and just get on with it. Or like Roger was doing there on Wides, and using framing, which is just, you know, blissful. But it's just having the chance to be.
Did you ever get the moment of, I mean, what's your favourite Spielberg film?
Shit. You ask me questions. I mean, you talk about scary movies. I saw Jaws when I was 6, because it got
It was an A certificate, so you could see it when you were 6, which is terrifying.
I mean, I'm scarred to this day. I mean, all I remember is literally kicking the guy's seat so hard in front he left. So I was like, fuck. I mean, it's sort of child cruelty, isn't it, really?
It's astonishing. It is astonishing. Firstly, that it's an 8. I mean, I remember seeing it. I'm older than you, but not substantially, obviously.
No.
And I remember thinking for the first time in my life, I'm actually going to, not funny, I'm actually going to wet myself. I am so scared I'm going to lose control of my bodily functions, because the opening, the thing with Chrissy's death, is one of the scariest things I've ever seen.
And then it kind of just goes.
Yeah. So, but did you at any point do the thing about finding yourself alone with Spielberg going, I just have to tell you, Mrs. Spielberg, I absolutely love insert film here?
Believe me, I thought about it. He loves telling us. I didn't realize, but he likes talking about it. So, and you kind of are very nervous around it. I do remember we were on a boat, and I did actually say, I think we're going to need a bigger boat, which I wanted to shoot myself in the face.
Well done.
It's like, because everybody was like, oh, really? I was like, at least I said it. But he wanted...
So pleased you did that.
He liked to talk. So you get him going. He loved to talk about old movies. He loved to talk about, you know, that's why it's interesting watching the biography pick he did.
Yeah.
I knew most of those stories because they were kind of interwoven into his career. So, you know.
It's the Fabelmans.
The Fabelmans, yeah, exactly.
So can I tell you my Steven Spielberg?
Please, yes.
It'll be very quick.
Yeah.
I apologise. When I first saw AI, I thought it was terrible. And then I saw it again. My wife said, you need to see it again. I said, I didn't like it. She said, no, but people I respect like it, so you should see it again. So I watched it. And
Who are these people?
Yes, exactly. And I loved it. And I said to him, I have to apologise to you because I completely misread AI and I think it's a masterpiece. And he said, you're only the second critic who's ever apologised to me. And the first one was Vincent Canby. And in my head, I heard he just compared me to Vincent Canby. And I've lived with that ever since.
I could see I could see how that
works. Do you still get starstruck by filmmakers?
Yes, I do. I mean, I'm not, I deal with it better, I think, now. I used to just be, I think it was just that authority thing that I used to sort of like, fuck off. I'd be like, it would be like, I couldn't really deal with it very well. But I'm so, you know, it still gives me a thrill today, this industry. It still gets me going. So, yeah.
Good. Let's do a lesser known role. So when you took over Bond, tell me about that reinventing that character, because every single person who's done Bond has got their own version of it, and your version of it. And I've said this in public a lot, so it's not like I'm saying this just because you're here. You are my favourite Bond. I think you were the best screen Bond, but not least because you radically reinvented what Bond was on screen. Were you conscious of doing it?
I suppose so. I mean, there was so much wrapped up in it, and you know, everyone that come before had sort of done their thing, and it was sort of, you know, it was sort of brilliant sort of performances of Suave and Roger and Piers and everybody and Timothy and everybody had done their sort of, and I just went, well, I can't do that. I can't do it. And to pretend to do it, people are going to sniff it. They're going to go, it's kind of, and so it was a roll of the dice. It was, I can't do what's come before. I can't try and do what's come before. And also, I just wouldn't know how to. I just wouldn't know what that meant. And I just felt, well, okay, I'm going to just treat it like I treat everything else, and sort of not forget who it is. Don't forget it's James Bond, because you have to have that kind of overriding, thing. It's like it's there, and let's go for it. And they let me do it. They kind of Martin and Barbara and Michael, they kind of just said, have at it.
Did you love it?
I did. Yeah, I did. Loved every second of it. I mean, some of it was tough and weird and strange and emotionally kind of difficult for everybody, including my family.
The fame.
Yeah, the fame, and yeah, I mean, the fame is weird. I mean, and I went in open-eyed. I was working, I had a little bit of fame,
Yeah.
Might have got me a drink a little quicker in a bar, but that's kind of like the level of fame I had. But I could still go anywhere. And that I knew that was going to sort of have such a big thing, but you can't, that couldn't be the reason not to do it.
Okay. Indulge me, because I'm going to show one other Bond clip, which I've just on the off chance that anyone hasn't seen Daniel's final Bond film, I have cut this judiciously, I believe. In that scene, you get pain, you get fear at one moment, you get all the things that we
gamut.
Yeah, exactly. And then there is, I think, the genius of the emotion of the end of your final Bond outing. And I think the reason this works is firstly because, as somebody who'd always loved On Her Majesty's Secret Service, I love the fact that it's going back to a version of Bond in which he has things to lose, because you can only care about a character if they have something to lose.
I've told this story before. We were driving away from the Berlin premiere of Casino Royale. I was in the back of the car, just me and Barbara. And I said to her, how many have I got to do of these things? Enthusiasm. She said 4, I think. I did 5 at the end. And she said, great, if I do 4, can I kill him off at the end? And she just went silent. She went, yep, okay. And she stuck to her word. So, and I just knew that if I was going to finish it, we had to find, I mean, it happened. I didn't have a plan, didn't know what that was going to be, but it had to be about love, loss, something that was going to be about, he sort of essentially kills himself, which is not an heroic act.
He sacrifices
himself, which is, I suppose, yes, exactly. So what's the only reason that you do that for? And that's for the safety of your family, the love of your family, all of those things. So it's just go big or go home. Come on, I mean, really.
But also the difficulty of playing that, because you're on your own on that roof. I mean,
I had Laird already shot the scene.
Okay.
So I had the recording of it in my ear.
Oh God! So you're literally.
So I had her performance.
I'm gonna start crying.
I mean, listen. It's just like, and that's what did it, because ultimately I heard her performance, and that's, I often say it. You can prep on a movie and have all these great ideas. I said I won so many Oscars in the bath the night before. When you get to set, the actor in front of you is what's giving you. Yeah. And she gave it, and I was. That's what I was responding to. So
okay, to change the tone completely, Benoit Blanc. we're back in the territory of outlandish accents and fantastic screenwriting. And have you just finished shooting a third?
We did. Well, in the summer, yeah, we finished off we shot it here, in fact, in Leavesden.
So 5 Bonds, but 3 Benoit Blanc. And in fact, I presume that the series will, because you seem to really enjoy playing it.
If he keeps writing them like that, then yes, I will play it till I'm. It's also much easier on the limbs.
Where does the accent come from?
You may ask.
It's a bit Tennessee Williams, isn't it?
There's a little Tennessee in there, I think, to give it that little thing. But there's a historian an historian in. Is that right? An historian? I don't know.
An hotel. It always sounds to me like an affectation. It's a hotel.
Yeah. Is Shelby Foote, who was an expert on the Civil War, who is from Louisiana, and I know his son actually very well. He's a photographer, There's a beautiful accent. There's a little bit of him in there as well.
And when you do it, do you? I mean, I know you're an actor. Do you become?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't. It's a hard one, that, because I mean that's the whole thing about kind of method acting and kind of staying in character. It's like I'm
do you
not.
Do that?
No, but I do kind of do something. You have to do something. You have to stay focused and you have to stay in it. On the first one, I never stopped talking in the accent.
So when you went to catering, you ordered food in that accent?
So annoying. I must have just people like, oh, fuck. Fucking actors. So because I was so kind of wanted to get, and also because of, we actually, the whole of the denouement is, you know, I said to Ryan, I can do it in one. And we did. We shot it in, very long takes.
Yeah, okay. Which you love.
Which I love. And also, I'm always in movies, I don't know about you, but when they cut to voiceover, I always hate it when you hear that, and I can hear it, maybe everybody can't hear it, I'm just anal about these things, the studio quality, it never quite
different
fits.
Sound, yeah.
Different sound. And I'm like, I want to record live my other lines. So I did the whole thing as one to get the flow. And that was just staying in that. I needed to be in the accent all the time.
I love that character, and I want you to make a ton of those films because just, and also I like seeing it in the cinema, and I wish that the cinema windows were bigger so that more people can. I mean, with Glass Onion, that's a film that's designed to be seen on a big screen, and we've got that much time to do it.
You tell me. I mean, yes, I know.
Okay.
I know.
All right.
I'm still unemployed at the moment, but I'll talk about that later.
Okay. So just before we go to audience questions, let's bring it all the way back to where we started. This is the second clip from Queer. I think this is some of your best work. You've just been nominated for a Golden Globe. Congratulations. Do you get a frisson from that?
I mean, of course. I'm only human. It's like of course it's like I try and be, you know, cool about it, but I can't. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Did you find that on your phone, or were you watching the?
No, I don't think about it. I'm like, forget it. I mean, someone reminded me this morning. Said, don't fucking tell me I don't care, because it's like comes out like at, I don't know, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning in LA.
Yeah.
So I'm just not thinking about it.
Think of ping.
The phone started going. Yeah.
Oh right. So if it goes ping, 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 it means you got nominated. If it goes ping, it means you didn't get nominated.
Let's get on with the day.
Okay. There's a joy in that performance that, I mean, I feel like, you know, you said that you have to find the connection between you and the character. And this is a difficult character to play for a number of reasons. But it does feel to me like you're on fire on screen. You're giving it everything because it's a passion project, right? You didn't do it for any reason other than that you love it.
I mean, I think I try and apply that to all the jobs I do. I mean, I just feel like...
Cowboys and Aliens?
Oh, shut your face. Always read the third act.
There was a third act?
I'm just handing these to you.
Yeah. We're going out dancing later on. So
we are. It's true. I just think, you've got to, again, I consider this job to be a massive privilege. Also, I believe in it because I believe it's an important part of our conversation of who we are and all of these things. But, you've got to go there and you've got to do it. You've got to turn up and do it. I mean, there's all these amazing people around. Someone like Luca gets this incredible crew together and there's beautiful actors. You got to turn up. Oh, I mean, it's simple. My family. That's it, really. I mean, there's nothing to it. I'm quite a homebody. I just like being at home, hanging out with my family. Good evening. The simple answer to that is no. I would rather, as Tony Krishna once said, suck the pus out of an abscess.
Wow.
It's a line from Angels in America. I have this, great job, which I do, which I'm still exploring. And to have a a retrospective is like, I'm not done yet. And it's like, but looking back is you know, it's like, my God, it's like I've been doing this a while. I've still got a huge amount to learn. I still go to work to learn. But I can go home at the end of the evening and the phone, if it does go, I'm allowed to ignore it. If you're a director, you can be talking to somebody till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. The producers go, "You can't shoot that. We haven't got the money for this." It's like it never ends. And I'm just like, I don't need that. I mean, I'd rather go home and get some rest.
Thank you.
I mean, Road to Perdition was a movie that was, I mean, seminal for me in the sense that it was a sort of suddenly I'm making a Hollywood movie, which I'd done actually. Weirdly, I left drama school and went straight into a Hollywood movie, and worked. I mean, some real stars, and Hans Zimmer did the music. Weirdly, but I was suddenly up there with Tom Hanks and Paul Newman, which was just like, the fuck am I doing here? But again, it's like you realize that you're here, you're there, you've got to get on with it, you've got to do something, you've got to turn up and you've got to do it. And I mean, I'm proud of most of the stuff I've done. There's some stuff that I used to go into Blockbusters, if anybody remembers what that is. And I'd grab was it a VHS? Probably wasn't, it was probably a DVD. And I would grab it and I would throw it under a table and think, nobody's watching that. But I think they always had another copy.
but to ask you, anything that's a gap that you would like to fill?
Oh, I see. Sorry, I didn't misunderstood the question.
Am I correct in thinking this?
I'm so sorry. Gosh, listen to me. Just rattled on some stupid answer. No, let me talk about myself. It's a good question, and I don't know if I have a really kind of smart answer to it, or even an answer to it, because I so much go with what's in my gut. And Luca's someone I wanted to work with. I've always admired him. He came along with this movie, but he didn't just come along with any old movie. He came along with Queer, which was like so many things attached to that the challenge of that is just incredible. And I mean, yes, I want things that are going to challenge me, and I hope also challenge an audience a little bit. I mean, those are sort of things that I'd like to get into. But I don't have any specific answers, I'm sorry. Okay. I'll shut up now. I suppose, again, just it's, you know, lucky enough I worked. Again, television helped a great deal. So the speed of television was, you know, something where you've got to kind of turn up, you've got to know your lines, you've got to be ready, you've got to kind of make a, you know, you've got to make an impression, I suppose, and for want of a better way of putting it. And that kind of gave me a confidence, I suppose, that I just didn't have. I mean, I was just so scared on that movie. I mean, I was just terrified. I've told this story before. John Avildsen used to think, "Oh God, he's so still. So still." I was just like, terrified. I had great. I mean, that's kind of, you know. I mean, name the cast in that: Danny Dyer and oh God, I will name the cast in that. If my brain would kick into gear. It was a bunch of, you know, I mean, I loved making that movie. It was all done on set. I love filming on sets. I love studio work. I love the control of studios. I love the magic of sets, of that. You know, I've always had a kind of thing about fucking, you know, it used to be DVD extras and behind the scenes looking. It's like, no, don't look behind the scenes. You're kind of giving the game away. It's the magic. And if everybody knows how it works, it's like, you know, what lens we're on while you're watching a scene. I hate watching movies because I do know what's going on. And it's just better to be in the dark, to let yourself go and go, just be, you know, not know. Too much information is not a good thing.
Well, that's the 7-hour-long making of documentaries that I made out the window. Thanks, Daniel. That's just... Because it could have been a narrated story, couldn't it? It could have been.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Burroughs, would talk, pages and pages and pages of sort of in a monologue. It would have been a very different movie. I mean, not one that I don't think it would have been. No, I mean, we were, what was the first conversation I had with Luca, which was very short. I sat in a hotel in New York with him, and I just said, it's a love story. He went, it's a love story. And I went, well, then we're fine, let's get on with it. I mean, all the rest of that, all the things, the Burroughs, it's our job to weave it in and to have flavors of that. He'd had this thing called the routine, where he'd just sort of talk, and I thought that was very interesting, the way that he described this way of, he liked to entertain. He liked to be the center of attention and things. And I thought, well, why? Why does he like to be the center of attention? What's going on with that? So it's hopefully the movie conveys that, and I think it does rather beautifully convey that. Luca's done just a magnificent job of it. No, I mean, I've said this before. I couldn't have done that movie while I was doing Bond. It would have felt very self-conscious. But it was movies that I've done in the past, and I'm fascinated by, the artifice of masculinity, and what that means, and toughness, and it's a learned thing, masculinity, as much human behavior is, but especially that. And that, he was a character that has a gun on his hip who sashays around. Sashay is the wrong word.
That would have been a different Bond.
Well, I was talking about Burroughs' character, actually, but I mean, it's like, but then and William Lee in this does the same thing. It's like, it's all for a reason. What's the reason? Why is he doing it? And I couldn't really explore that in Bond. I tried to a bit, but you can't really do that. It still has to be James Bond. Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, of course, and I'm sensitive to it. You have to be. As far as I'm concerned, art of any type is not great when it's reactionary. It sort of has to come from somewhere within, and that's where you have to find it. So if you're kind of doing something because you did something, it's like that's kind of a dodgy territory. I do a lot of work, think about it every day, do all of these things, and then I get to set and I do my best to empty my head. Because as soon as I think, as soon as you start overthinking, as soon as you start, again, that thing you're saying, how do you know where the camera is? I couldn't do, but it's all kind of over there somewhere. And what's going on in front of me and what's going on is I'm reacting that. A great acting coach who used to work with my wife, who's sadly not around anymore, used to just say, you got up that morning and it was really pissy, and there was a leak in the bathroom, and the cat shat on the bed, and that'll do. Whatever that is, what's that feeling? Because in movies, what goes on is something needs to happen. I mean, there's great talks of when you acting with kids, because it's like, inner monologues, inner life. I mean, how do you give a kid an inner life? How do you tell a kid to have an inner life? And of course, they've got one. Do some sums. Like. 10. I got there. I mean, it's kind of that. It can be that simple. Go with that. Just go with it. I mean, and that is a way of hopefully freeing up yourself to. This is what the scene should be about. You're fucked if you think that. What's the scene about? I don't know what the scene's about. Let's find out. We'll sit here and we'll figure it out. You and me, the other actors, you'll figure it out.
Okay, look, that seems to be a very good point on which to draw things to a close. And also, I'm aware that we are up at 10 o'clock. Thank you so much to the audience. And thank you. I have to say, those are some of the best audience questions that we've ever had. So thank you very, very much. Thanks to Mubi, thanks to the BFI. And please join me in thanking the fabulous Daniel Craig.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.